Welcome to the Mortgage Broker Podcast, tailor-made for Canadian mortgage industry professionals. Proudly presented by A Better Way Mortgage Group, this podcast is your trusted source for insider insights, market updates, and strategies to elevate your career in the ever-evolving world of mortgage brokering. Whether you're a seasoned broker with A Better Way Mortgage Group or an industry enthusiast looking to stay ahead, our episodes are designed to empower you with the knowledge and tools you need to excel in the Canadian mortgage space. We're back for another episode of the Mortgage Broker Podcast. Arguably, probably one of the most anticipated episodes that we could launch this year within our group. Our brokers have had absolute tremendous feedback around this topic, and I'll get right into it. We are going to be passing this show off to a recording from the Mortgage Broker panel that we had at our Ascend 2024 Mortgage Conference. It was our full-day summit that we're doing annually at A Better Way Mortgage Group. There's a lot of great speakers there. I'm not going to get into that. This is really just passing it off to the segment of the broker panel. And again, it was by far the most decorated part of the entire day. Everyone has been raving about it, and so we thought, let's share this with the industry. Let's share the insights from really the top. These are the top people within our group from a perspective of volume production and just leadership in general in our group. And so we're excited to dive into it and let you all hear from each of those members. So I'll leave the intros and whatnot to the actual recording. Jason is sitting here with me today, and he actually moderated the entire panel and had an introduction to bring them up on stage. Before we pass it off to the actual recording of the panel, I'll just touch on some key takeaways. We had 5 key takeaways from the day. So if you don't have time to listen to the whole episode, I would definitely tune in here. These are our 5 key takeaways from that panel, and I'll start with the first one: the no docs, no talks approach that Channy Tay emphasized the importance of prioritizing clients who are willing to provide necessary documentation upfront. So her focusing on these clients, it's allowed Channy to experience an increased efficiency and has been able to dedicate far more time to cultivating stronger relationships with her referral partners and her clients, which I couldn't agree with more. There's really, I really have no patience when I was brokering, no patience at all to work with clients that aren't willing to put the work into us and get that file to a point that it can actually be worked on. And so just to emphasize that, like, why would you put your hard work into underwriting and processing a file if you don't have the documents and the proper information to give them the proper strategy? I think you're doing yourself a disservice and the client a disservice in that case. So couldn't agree more with Channy. Jason, why don't you take away kind of the next piece here from a takeaway perspective?
Yeah, so we have definitely one of the rising stars within the A Better Way group, but arguably one of the rising stars in the mortgage industry in general, Vic Sahi. From a timing perspective, he's still relatively new in the business, but doing extremely well. And one thing that he highlighted was proactive deal solicitation. What that really means is how consistent are you with trying to generate new business, the approach of staying in touch with your clients, touching base with your referral partners, increased requests for business. And, Vic brings up a very good point where, he says, if your phone's not ringing, you better make other people's phone ring. And so he has some really good points on how he's proactively out there soliciting for new business. And I know for sure that guy's phone's ringing quite often. So great points by him.
That was actually an awesome piece. He totally nailed it there. And in a similar fashion, Shabir Patel, who's actually one of the top agents at A Better Way Mortgage Group from day one. He's a true leader when it comes to this group, always willing to share. He touched on deepening client relationships or client connections in the tough times, and he recognized the importance of deepening these connections with clients, particularly during the challenging times, such as these variable rate challenges that we've seen with the variable rate over the past 18, 24 months. While many agents have actually and openly avoided engaging with such clients, it is a tough conversation where if you sold somebody on a variable or whatnot, a lot of folks have just been afraid to make those calls and check in on those folks. But while people were avoiding these conversations, he was actually diving right in, and he saw an opportunity to provide assistance. He saw the opportunity to, by initiating these sit down appointments, offering very key solutions to actually mitigate the risks. He strengthened the client loyalty and trust, positioning himself as really a dependable resource and somebody that he could be looked at as a thoughtful person when in these circumstances. And by personalizing that approach, he saw a ton of success from this, because a lot of those folks did need help, whether it was restructuring or having to sell or just ultimately just knowing maybe there wasn't a solution, but him reaching out, by deepening that relationship, they found more trust in him and not being just that transactional type broker that just moves on to the next one and forgets about his clients. And he saw an increase in referrals from that. So pretty interesting piece there. And obviously we won't go too deep there and let him touch on that in the panel.
Anil Kumar was up on stage, and he is really a huge advocate for sharing in the industry at large. You probably see him on all the social media broker forums, just commenting and adding value. But he touched on a very hot topic, which we're all talking about these days, which is prioritizing your CRM development. As I was moderating the panel, and Anil was going through his segment, I actually turned the audience, and we had about 130 people there. And I asked, who's actively using a CRM, and only about 20% of the people had put their hand up. And that is a little bit alarming when it comes to exactly what we're moving into in this space. Just with this renewal wave that's coming through. But the people that are actually using the CRM, it's a great thing, but you can go deeper into how that CRM works and how to really touch with your clients and how consistently you should be doing that. And of course, the importance of that. And Anil did a great job of talking about the CRM that he uses and the Velocity campaign, the Gold Rush campaign, and what have you. But he also did mention something that I think we overlook from a CRM perspective, which is for those of us that are looking to build a team. And can we use the CRM to communicate with our staff members and our team members to increase efficiencies and really keep the communication going? So Anil dove really deep into that, and the importance, of course, email campaigns and text campaigns and what have you. So just a great share from him.
Yeah, it certainly was. And Kelly Mann, to kind of wrap up our 5 key takeaways here. Kelly Mann, she's been redefining her approach to client relationships and by prioritizing genuine care and personalized attention beyond just mere interest rates. And that's been her tactic of transitioning from a transactional to a relational type approach with her clients. And that has been overwhelmingly successful for her. So she's committed to fostering high touch communication with her clients and their realtors, focusing on providing educational content and devising creative solutions to address their needs. So Kelly's dedication to building meaningful connections is really, it underscores her shift towards this relational approach in her client interaction. So I think that goes a long way, and that's really humanizing the experience, opposed to where a lot of this industry has been going lately is just digital. Well, just in general, our a lot of things we do in life is going that way. So it's cool to see her going in the opposite direction, and I think that's going to bode well for her. So from there, we'll pass it on to the broker panel. And again, just a reminder, this is certainly a longer form episode that we're not totally used to when it comes to the format of this show, but I think you're really going to enjoy it. There's a lot of great takeaways here that we didn't mention here in our top 5, but be curious to see what your top 5 takeaways are. Feel free to share any comments, any tips and tricks that we can use for others and that maybe weren't touched on in this show. And if there's anything that you think you can help us with from a perspective of content or whatnot, feel free to share that with us. So we'll pass it off to the team, and thanks for listening.
We are super excited to host a broker panel for you guys today. We have chosen some brokers to come up and present and kind of share some of their best practices and what they're doing in their business. And these brokers, we kind of tried to pick a really great range of dynamics and how long they've been in the industry and what they're doing. So the first person I'm going to start with is, hopefully she's here, is Chani Tay. So Chani is a mother of 2, self-proclaimed workaholic. She loves having a nice glass of wine, especially while doing her compliance. And she has been a top performer with the A Better Way Mortgage Group for the last 4 years. So thank you, Chani. The next broker is Kelly Mann. Kelly is one of the newest hires to A Better Way, like Chani, another self-proclaimed workaholic. In the few hours that she's not doing mortgages, she's in the final process of completing her pilot license. Fun fact, Kelly recently told me that she is in her happy place while gardening and enjoying a nice glass of Napa Red. Common theme. Kelly is one of ABW's newest hires, as I said, but she's been in the mortgage industry for 23 years. So, welcome, Kelly. Next to the stage, Anil Kumar. Anil loves the outdoors. When he's not doing mortgages, he enjoys being active hiking, running, and camping with his family. He's an avid supporter of the community and spends a lot of his free time volunteering. He's been with the A Better Way Mortgage Group since 2021 and in the industry since 2018. He's a true supporter of the community. Welcome, Anil. Next up, we have Vic Sahi. In case you can't tell by looking at him, Vic loves staying active. He spends a lot of hours in the gym and playing multiple sports like basketball and golf. He's a big fan of traveling and considers himself a foodie that likes to try everything. When he takes a break from mortgages and working out, he spends his time with his new fiancée, Jacqueline, and his dog, Bobby. Vic's a rising star within the A Better Way group. Welcome, Vic. Next up, a man that needs no introduction, multiple-time Broker of the Year, Shabir Patel. When asked what Shabir's hobbies are, he says, mortgage approvals are my hobby. Outside of mortgages, Shabir is a family man who enjoys spending time with his 3 boys. He is involved in the cricket clubs, both from a community perspective and a volunteer perspective, as well as sponsorships. We're super happy to have Shabir up here. Thank you, Shabir. So thanks again, guys, for speaking on the panel. This is great. I mean, there's a lot of experience and a lot of volume on this panel. So I think we could all probably take some good insights away. So I'm going to start with kind of the same question for everybody, which is very topical given the year that we've just had. So Chani, I'm going to start with you. What's the one thing that worked really well for you in your business last year?
I think it's I start saying a firm no to the client and to a lot of clients. And I have a workflow that I developed last year because it's a slower year for me. And screening out my clients, the quality clients, it's a real process. So you don't give me documents, I don't do anything to them. Like I don't do anything. And they really work very well for me, improving my efficiency and closing ratios. Then I can spend more time with my referral partners, which I deepen the relationship with.
A quick no seems to be a very common thing that I think we should all learn to do. I think many of us tend to do things and cater when we don't necessarily need to. So I love that. Thanks for sharing. Kelly, same question for you.
Well, very similar to Chani. But last year I just said no more of being comfortable. I was used to doing what I always do every single year, in and out, same thing every day. But last year I kind of just went and I'm like, I'm going to do everything I can market has changed and I do 80% of my business is from realtors. And obviously that had really slowed down. So I just gave it my all. And I actually did 42 training sessions in person and events. And that was like a big takeaway. I also started like a women in business kind of group and there was nothing that I wasn't going to try. And so I just said, there's no way, the market's slower and I'm not going to lose. And so I just gave it my all.
That's amazing. I mean, I know Dean, Derek, and myself, we've had multiple conversations in the office about you and where do you find the time? I mean, 42 events and sponsorships and starting the women's stuff. It's remarkable what you're building. And I know your referral partners and your realtors and everybody loves you for that. So congrats. Mr. Kumar.
For me, the biggest thing that made me that kept me afloat last year was a thing that I was taught right in the beginning when I became a broker, that you should be well conversant with all your lenders and their policies. I'm a big supporter of that. But what happens is over the years, we all get into a comfort zone. So we all have a list of those 4 to 5 lenders that we just tend to fall back upon again and again and again. But last year, when business was slow and we were losing files left and right and center to mostly RBC, right? I said, okay, what can I do? So what I did was I dug deeper into one of our lender base that we really don't look at, our credit unions. First West, Prospera, Community Savings Credit Unions. These credit unions had the best 2 and 3 year fixed rates until third quarter of the year. And I have the count of number of files that I did switch transfers. I did 47 switch transfers to the credit unions from big banks alone. 47 files in 3.5 months. And I said they were all spread over Prospera, First West, and Community Savings. When everyone was at sorry, I'm a man of numbers. When everyone has 5.8 and 5.9 for their 3 years fixed term, Community Savings was giving 4.99. 17 transfers to Community Savings in 3 months. So that's what we should. I'm going to repeat it again when my question comes. Please make sure that you are well conversant and up to date with your lender policies. That was my take of the year. Thank you.
Surprised the lenders aren't applauding that.
That's a great one. For me, I think last year was the first year since I started the business where you couldn't just hide out in your office and deals fall in your lap. You actually had to go get them. So I put myself out there more than I've ever had last year and got really aggressive. And the first time I actually went through my own database and checked in with past clients because, as Anil was saying, a lot of them want help, but they don't want to make the first step. So a lot of my clients, we were able to bring them over to a credit union like Prospera or Envision and get them a better rate or refinance them, get them out of debt. So go through your own database and make those calls with clients you've done because, if you become a ghost to them, they're not going to reach out to you. So make sure you're in their face. Even my realtors, I started a mastermind with a group of realtors. So I meet with them once a month. All my realtors, I'm always touching base with them, my notaries, my developers, my accountants, anybody that could put a mortgage on your desk, make sure you're reaching out to them. It's no surprise that we're in the commission industry. Everybody knows we want a deal. So what's wrong for asking for a deal, asking for a referral, letting people know what kind of value you can provide, letting them know that you're there for them because, if you're not putting yourself out there, nobody's going to come to you for a mortgage. There's a lot of mortgage brokers in this room.
Well, with the usual, my routine, working hard, last year, what I did separate was when I noticed that the variable, the prime hit over 5%, that where most of our qualification was at 5.25, I reached out to my last 2-year database, which is 2021, 2022, where most of clientele who bought the house in high peak market. So I realized that this group of clients would be in the most trouble because they have picked the property on a high price, their mortgage is high, and they're on a variable, and they're gonna go over the cliff. So I reached out to them, I meet them, I went through their financials, whether how much they're gonna sustain, if they will be able to keep the payment if the rate hit further, which is now is over 7% now, 7.2, and wherever I found that, yes, they're going to be in a trouble with their payment, I would try to arrange different sources, arrange money with the other sources like a private mortgage or debt consolidation, line of credit, personal line of credit. So that way they can continue their payment for at least another year or two. And I was very successful in that. So main focus was not to source new business, but to maintain the existing one who are going over the cliff and to make sure they don't go into trouble and they lose their houses. And it worked out very well. Like I did I would say in 2023, over 400 appointments I had with the clients, my existing clients. And through them, we came across lots of new leads because they found out that this guy did our mortgage is just not just random broker. Right? He's reached out to us in this tough time, and that sourced me a loss of business, which turned into the refinances, and then loss of debt consolidation. All those clients which we got them, private mortgage or unsecured line of credit, they are waiting in a line for the next year that once the rate hits low, we're going to consolidate them, refinance. There are lots of new business in line. That was something different I did, which I didn't do before. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's excellent. I mean, that's kind of where a lot of us strive to be in terms of being able to manage database and connect with our clients. And 400 appointments is just remarkable. And I'd actually be curious, maybe even offline, to kind of figure out what the conversion ratio was on those 400 appointments. But I have to imagine there was a substantial amount of volume that had come from that. So I want to flip gears, and we're talking about all the positives that we did and what worked really well for us. But last year was clearly a year of learning for all of us, and kind of having to reconfigure some of our practices and what have you. So what's one thing, Chani, that you're working to improve upon this year?
I want to echo to what Shabir says. That's my goal for this year. I want to dive into my database and actually show some care to my clients. So that's my focus for this year, and also to implement a good CRM. Just like I was looking at the banner from DLCG for the Gold Rush, so I signed up for it, which I'm very eager to use that service. Hoping to touch base with my database and in the New Year's and build better connections with them.
And we addressed the Gold Rush CRM campaign that DLCG is putting on. We addressed that in our annual address last week. But if you guys have, or you or anyone else in the room has any questions on that or wants some information, just reach out to us. I think that's great. Database marketing is going to be massive going forward. The renewal wave that's coming to the Canadian mortgage industry over the next 3 years is something that we cannot miss out on. So no, I like that. Hey, Kelly, what about yourself?
I'd like to really plan my vacations. Just kidding. I think from everything I did last year, I kind of want to just build on what really worked, and to what Chani was saying earlier, what doesn't work, or saying no. Like, you can't be available to everybody all the time. There's times that you need to say no. And I also want to build with lending partners a little bit more and plan it out where it's not just me who's delivering all the content all the time. It's, if you have, where's Lisa from Equitable Bank, but partner up with her and get her to come talk about reverse mortgages to our office. And I would like to build up a little bit of mini teams so that if I'm not there, the bus keeps moving. And we are highly real estate driven, but I'm also trying to make my database be a lot more of a focus personally, but I still want that to keep going.
Great.
My personal focus for 2024 is fully execute a CRM system. I invested into it last year, but now that I'm growing my team, like I have hired 4 sub-brokers with me and plan to increase it. So focusing more on the CRM so that the systems get into place. I see that I personally waste a lot of time. I'm sure I can save 30 to 40% of my time, and divert it to doing some more meaningful work, whether it's volunteering, whether it's something to do with the community, or working on files, of course. So that's my goal for this year, putting my systems into place.
CRM seems to be coming up quite a bit here. So just so to kind of a show of hands in the room, who is actively managing a good CRM right now and feels extremely comfortable with the functionality of it and how often it's reaching your clients? Just a quick scan. I mean, this is well under half. I mean, I'm looking at potentially 20%, right? So I think for all of us in this room, based on where this market is and what's coming our way, again, not to repeat myself, but from a renewal standpoint, a CRM is something that we could all take away, as many takeaways today, but I think that's one that we should put a lot of focus into. So I'm glad that's coming up. Vic, how about yourself?
I'm going to sound like a broken record and echo that. I want to do the same things as last year, but I want to get my business more automated. I do use a CRM, and it's good, but it could be better. I think if my business gets automated, I can work smarter and not harder, because I do, as Anil said, to echo that, I feel like I waste a lot of time. I have a lot of realtor partners that have their CRMs and their business is so automated. I'm like, man, that would be so easy, and I could do so much more business by doing that. And Dean, Derek, Jason being here, they're the kings of CRM and automation, what they've done. So learning from them, also touching base with our velocity reps, Greg Donville, Sati, every month to see what else I can add to my business to make my life easier, so I can do other things to help my business rather than just be in the office and crunching files.
Well, my this year will be again will go fully automated on the CRM. Very heavily focused on velocity right now. So that, because I have over decade database to work on it. So once that get automated, lots of deals will be flowing in, and renewals, which tons of renewals are on the way. So another goal is to hire a couple more assistants who will just work on the renewals and the follow-up. So that will be my goal for this year.
I do not want to make this a Velocity commercial, but the Gold Rush CRM is managed and built by Velocity on your behalf. So this is a system where we don't have to figure out the toggles, how to distribute out, how to manage it. It is purely built for you by them. So definitely something to take a look at. And again, we can discuss that in further detail in a one-on-one with anyone else. So flipping gears one more time, I kind of want to get into a couple of personal questions. So Chandy, I'm going to start with you. I know one of your massive skill sets, and you have many, is your speed of response. So when it comes to response to clients and referral sources and your business partners, how quickly do you like to get back to them, and how has that helped you build new relationships and foster existing ones?
I try to reply to them within an hour. Even say if I'm in the event, I will text them telling them I'm in the convention, I in the event today, I will call you back at 4. And I will build a list who I need to call back after hour. And in my text, I usually ask them, is this urgent? If it's urgent, I might make exception to respond faster. But otherwise, I try to respond to them really, really fast within an hour, even on a weekend. I try to tell them I still need my family time. I need my time off on the weekend, but because it's you, so I'll respond faster. And I usually deliver that. And I think some of my referral partner really value that as well too. They feel there's a connection with me because I put them first.
Do you set non-negotiable times where you will not pick up the phone if a realtor calls or a client calls?
No. But when when client tried to call me on Sunday night and I didn't pick up, and they text me saying that, how come you didn't pick up your phone? Then I will fire this client the next day because I don't feel they respect my time, and I don't feel that's our working relationship I want to be. So those are my exceptions that I literally fire a few clients because of that. I'm like, no, I'm not talking to you. I can't. Go find somebody else. Yeah, but otherwise I don't set really boundaries. But I feel like when we have a good relationship with the referral partners, they respect my time as well too. They try not to bother me. They sometimes comes with a text message say, I'm so sorry, it's a weekend. Just call me back on Monday. That's fine. Yeah. So I feel it's a really good relationship I built with them throughout the years, throughout the months. Yeah.
That's great. I think relationship and boundary setting with our clients or referral sources, I think that's key. So, that's great. Kelly, I know you're extremely successful when it comes to building relationships and a lot of realtor relationships as well. So for the group here, what advice could you offer for working with realtors and building a long-lasting relationship? I know a lot of us in the room feel as though realtors become very transactional, and they're only as good as the last deal, so unfortunately. So how do you build a long-lasting relationship where you know that realtor is going to be connected to you for the long term?
Okay, great question. So you said a key word in there, transactional. So I think that's one of the first things you should really ask yourself and be honest. Am I transactional or am I relational? because a lot of us think we're relational, but really we actually are transactional. And realtors really work in that, like, it's very distinct. Some of them actually may follow programs like Buffini, where, you know, we were just talking about it earlier, that you get this handwritten card with the $5 Starbucks, because in their mind, that's how they're building a relationship with you. So I think it's really identifying first, what type of broker are you? Second off, all of you in this room are more than an interest rate. I think realtors kind of think, well, we sent it to my girl Kelly because she's got 479 through Envision. Well, I'm a lot more than just an interest rate. So real estate transactions in today's world are really kind of done in 3 different ways. One is your more individual relationship with your realtor. Some of you might be in an in-house partnership where you manage an office. And some of you might be in the New World Times, which is definitely not where I'm not. I'd love to be, but I'm not. Is you're just creating content and you're throwing it out in the social world, Instagram, LinkedIn, that kind of thing. So with realtors, you really have to own what you do. For those of you who are really dialed in on renewals, for example, like, kudos to you, because that's probably the biggest golden ticket for a realtor. Because how many people can't afford their house that they're in when it renews? So what are they going to do? They're going to look to sell. Maybe they're going to get something smaller. But if you're dialed in your CRM and you have a good relationship with your realtor, John Smith, you know, maybe you say, hey, I spoke to your client. Remember we did that deal like 4 years ago? Well, they want to go and sell. There's no one on this planet that's going to do that for those people. So you are actually a key in their business. And it's not so much about like what I went through last year. I mean, in good months, we were doing like 20 to 25 deals a month just in real estate transactions. So obviously that really slowed. But it was more of meeting them face to face and saying, hey, what's on your pipeline? What are you listing this year? And they say, oh, well, you know, I got this, you know, whatever deal going on here. And I've been actually really doing that now. So I know like probably 12 to 15 listings that are coming up that I can actually tell my pre-approved clients ahead of time. So going with like our mantra or our company name, A Better Way, is really being the better broker and a better partner and just being way past our interest rate, because we're so much better than a rate. But unfortunately, our industry, on the outside, we're looked at just a rate. So just, you know, working together closely, and you don't need a lot of people. You could probably have a very successful career with like even 5 to 7 really good agents. And don't be scared to go after the top 1% or the top 5%, even if you're newer, because like us, like if we think of the BDMs and the BRMs we deal with, there's ones that we get just interest rates texted to our phone. Like, here's a rate, Kelly. I don't know who the person is. I have no relationship with them. But then there's ones who are like, tell me about the last 5 deals that fell apart. And all of a sudden that person's valuable, or they answer your phone, or they do those things. So use what like the BRMs and BDMs that we love to work with and be that to your realtors, and I promise you, you will win.
All those great BDMs are sitting in the room right now. So I actually want to build on just one quick question, because I know there's a lot of different degrees of experience in this room. So one question that seems to come up for newer agents that are looking to grow their referral partner source. So when they reach out to work with a realtor, that realtor is asking them for a referral fee. So have you come across that? And when a realtor says, Kelly, I want a referral fee, how do you respond to that?
So when an agent asks you for their referral fee, and this is my brutally honest answer, they are at the bottom generally of their pile, because most people who are producing, and I came from a bank world where you'd get points for doing deals and you got this. Realtors don't give a shit about that stuff. They care about their deals getting done. So you really have to ask yourself, like, hey, this is a working relationship. It's almost like a marriage, to be honest. You're working together to get the same result and end goal. And if you're only valuing me for money, and if that's not your thing, then don't do it, right? So you're going to come to a point in your career where that's not going to happen. Those people, you won't even attract them. And that's the other thing is like you want to attract people, like we go naturally to people who are like us. We go to people who are likable to us. So the people that want money out of deals, if that's not your thing, just walk away, because that is only thing your relationship's based on is a transactional dollar figure. So I wouldn't do it.
I totally agree. It's always you want 500, next person offers 510, you're out. So I totally agree. Anil, a lot of new brokers in the room here. For you, what are the 3 steps that a newer broker needs to take to get a good head start in this business?
Thank you, Jason, for bringing up this question. It's very close to my heart. I think we shared that. So I'll start with how I'm sitting here today. I think that's probably the best. That should be the best example to everyone. So, number one, I learned early on when I became a broker in 2018 that I didn't have any banking background. I came from sales. I did not know anything about mortgages except for the mortgage that I had on my property at that time. So, the only thing I had to this thing was I had a sales background. So I reached out to some people in the industry and said, okay, what should I do? So the first thing that everyone told me that learn the product first, go and speak to the BDMs. Go and speak to the BDMs. They are the ones who know the product, who will teach you. So so it breaks my heart when I see on the various Facebook pages questions that are asked from new agents. And I really think, did you ask your mentor? Did you go to a BDM about it and talk about it? So, and I find out they did not. So my first request I said it's appeal to all of you who are new here, is to go and talk to your BDMs. I am what I am because of 3 people in the room. One of them, she's smiling back there, Utu from CMLS. Can I have a big hand for her, please? Donna Rachel from RFA. Can I have a big hand for her as well? And Mark Gohens from First West Credit Union. So these 3 people I met when I did not know how to build an application in Filogix or Velocity. I had already met those people. They told me what to do. So even today, I send a message to, sorry, Ut, I send a message to Ut at 11:30 at night, and she responds back at 11:40. That's how awesome these people are. So please reach out to them. They are paid to train us. That's what their job is. And the best part is they'll pay for your lunch. They'll pay for your coffee while they train you. Sorry, you CMLS budget, right? So these people, I met them for lunch in Cactus Club. I met them for coffee in Starbucks and all. And guess what? They paid for it, So what better profession you want to be in? So jokes, I'm telling you, no joke. Reach out to them. That's what they are for. They are amazing. All of them are simply amazing. I love them, I am what I am because of them. As you can see, the passion is flowing from my face. You can see I'm getting red. Second is database. We all talked about it. Build a very strong database right in the beginning. Because busier you get, more difficult it'll get for you to manage it. And by database, I mean every person that was involved in the transaction. Seller's agent, buyer's agent, realtor. If you had to talk to an accountant, the lawyer, the appraiser as well. Adam. We have Adam from, Adam still calls me, I don't think he calls many mortgage brokers because since he knows me by face, he calls me, hey, I had this file, blah, blah, blah. It's usually to complain, but it is what it is. We are friends. So maintain a database and be in touch with them. It's amazing, it's amazing what you can do with the database. And, and I think we are, again, perfect example of, we went into a database and we dug those clients out, we dug those realtors out, we dug those sellers agents out. So guess what, even a seller's agent can give you a lead in the future, right? So that's number 2. Number 3, we all have been told to do a lot of networking, go out to networking meetings and you do this and do that. Again, my only request and appeal is when you go there, just go thinking that you are there to give, not take. We all know this phrase, give and take. Even this in this phrase, give comes first and then take, right? we all know that what goes around comes around. So whenever you go to a charity event, if you are sponsoring an event, if you are involved in a community kitchen or whatever, don't even, or if you're going for a professional networking event, don't go there with a thought that what am I going to get out of it. Go with a thought that what I can give to these professionals sitting in the room. Once you have that, believe me, you won't have a dull year like all of us didn't have last year. That's what I have to say. Thank you.
It's great. So reach out to your BDMs, build a database, and give, not take. Yes. Perfect. Great takeaways. Vic, from a guideline and rate perspective, how do you use the discovery function?
Yeah, I think we're all in this room for working for a better way or DLC and not working for in a branch as a mortgage specialist is because we have that power of having so many lenders and rates and products, many of them in this room. That's our superpower, is that we have so many lenders that we're partnered with, and we have their rates and we have their products. So for me, discovery makes it a little bit easier. Rather than flipping through all the emails and finding the best rates, is I just go in discovery, look at all of our lenders, just to get a guideline of where everyone is for my specific client, and from there I'll pick out a few and then call those wonderful BDMs to discuss that client and that product and that rate. But it's for discovery for me, I'm always having that conversation with my BDMs. You got to call your BDMs. You got to have a conversation with them. But for me, discovery just is a starting point to kind of just give me a good ballpark of where we're at.
Well, kind of building on that, I know that you are 100% Velocity adoption user. So how do you use Velocity to attract and connect with your upcoming renewal database?
So I feel like I'm the commercial for Velocity today.
Well, you are.
You didn't want to start that. But renewals are we're not realtors. You don't just get paid on purchase and sale. Renewals are easiest paycheck that you'll get in this business. You've already done the work. You've already sold the client. You already won the client. All you have to do is follow up with this client, and you'll get another deal out of it. So for me, everything is mined into Velocity. Birthdays, important updates. All my clients, everyone in my database is getting those emails. But for renewals, when the mortgage closes, I'm following up 1 month after, just seeing how the closing went. Every single year, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, how's your mortgage going? And then when renewals are coming up, 5 months before, 4 months before, 3 months before, 2 months before, just hitting these clients so they have already seen me in their lives for the last 2, 3, 4 years. They know that Vic's got this. He's going to cover my mortgage. That's the one stress taken off my table. He's got it. I'm not just a flash from the past coming out of nowhere when renewal time is up. I've been in these clients' face, for the last 3, 4, 5 years.
Oh, that's excellent. Thank you very much. Shabir, on to you. As a top performing broker within the A Better Way group, how do you structure and keep your day organized while running such high volume? And how do you make sure that things don't fall through the cracks?
Well, I'm very, routine based. Waking up in morning till I go to bed, everything is quite structured. So, I go to gym every day, spend time for my health. First half of the day, mostly I'm on the phone. Most of bank calls, realtor calls, they all fall before 2 p.m., right? And after that, I work on a file. I work until, let's say, 6:30, 7 o'clock. I take a couple hours off. Then I go back to computer again for a couple hours before heading to bed. As far as they don't fall in a crack, in the first initial meeting, that's where I figure out that whether I can push this file or not. So every possibility of going sideways get resolved there. If I find that at some point, if I won't be able to or we cannot give a solution, I would stay away, right? I don't encourage them to go to private or, that, okay, don't worry, I'll get it done. That's not the thing. Nowadays, before there were, last few years were all cash offer. So I never take a responsibility for someone to put a cash offer. If they put cash offer, is their problem. I give them solution that, look, whether it's file doable or not. If it goes sideways, we have a private option. So those things are initially get documented. I put them on a paper, show them, so they don't change their mind or complain after. So most of those initial meetings that were structure the file, and even I tell them that where is going to get done. For worst of the worst situation, yes, there are cases where day before funding or something changed, or where there was nobody was giving extension. Well, we had to go private. I had to pump on my own money too sometimes, right, for a few weeks, and that's how we rescue the client. Yeah, most of documentation I take them upfront. So in first initial, if it's a cash offer, I tell them that if in next 10 days or 15 days I can't find solution, then I won't be able to do it. And if I can find solution, I'll tell them that whether it's finally doable or not, right? So most of things get sorted out in the first initial stage. So we don't go into that trouble phase at the end. Yeah.
Well, that's great. So it sounds like it's just communication right from start to finish.
Right from the start. Yeah, absolutely. Every time any lead comes, if I don't reach out within 2 hours, and end of the day, I will call them and then I make sure that I get connected with the clients. Right away, I inform the realtors that I'm in touch with the client. So that way, we build a relation so they don't go anywhere, right? And if client is hesitating to provide the documents and stuff, then that's not our client, right? Yeah.
Excellent. So just because we have a couple of free minutes left, and I didn't prep you guys for any of this, but do either of you have any kind of last minute words of advice for the people in this room, or just kind of an outlook in 2024?
Well, I would say that if you don't ask, you don't get it. So just keep building your network. Utilize your CRM as much as you can, and try to have at least one meeting with the realtor. Just pick a new realtor every week. That's what I used to do. I don't do it now, but in my first 5 years, I was doing lots of networking, meeting one new realtor every week, and one financial advisor every week, where where the most of business comes. I used to pick up new realtors who are driven, who are not the top 1%, because they already have their network built. So new realtor, you pick them up, you motivate them, you provide them industry resources, right? And then I used to go out with them for the door knock. One method I had adopted was, in the beginning, that was the first 5 years, from, you can say, 2011 to 15, that I used to get report every day from a realtor that what properties are sold in certain area, let's say in Fraser Valley. And I used to target those clientele, even though they didn't know me, but I used to go and door knock them. That, look, you sold your property, now you need a mortgage. If they already have a mortgage in a place, I said, you need a second opinion. So just hear me for 5 minutes and see what I have to provide. So I used to push myself a lot that time, and that created massive amount of network. And then those all mature deals, we converted into a bigger mortgage down the road, right? Every renewal comes on my way. I don't renew, to be honest. I converted into refinance. Every client I have done mortgage, at some point we change them into investor. So it's like keep moving them upward. Like then from townhouse, we start with a condo, to in next couple of years they will be in townhouse. After that they're going to be in a house. After that they're going to be in a new house. Now they need investment property. So that cycle keep repeating years and years, over and over. Yeah.
That's great. Awesome.
I'll just quickly say, just go for it. Like, put yourself out there. It might be scary at first, but we are mortgage specialists, but we are also in sales. And for sales, you have to put yourself out there. Nobody's going to bring you a deal just hiding around. You have to go for it. There is enough business out there for everyone in this room to be successful. There's so much business out there. Just put yourself out there. What we've been saying, make those connections, get a network going. Run through your database. It's a numbers game. More connections you make, the more deals you'll get.
Awesome. Well, I wanted to thank the five of you. Anil, do you want to say something quick? Okay. I forgot to mention that this broker panel was sponsored by TD. So TD, thank you very much for the sponsorship. So, and again, for the five of you, thanks so much. I mean, you guys are, five of the pillars of the A Better Way Mortgage Group. A lot of experience and a lot of volume up here. Really appreciate you sharing your insights with the group here. So, thanks again, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you for tuning in. If you found value in this show, please subscribe to our channel on your preferred platform. We're available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Your support is incredibly appreciated. We also welcome your reviews and feedback, which are crucial in helping us deliver outstanding educational content. Feel free to share your thoughts. A 5-star review would be fantastic if you think we earned it. Lastly, a vital announcement about Backpack Buddies, our chosen charity for 2024. This remarkable organization addresses a hidden hunger issue many are unaware of. In British Columbia, while school districts provide meals during school hours, numerous children face food scarcity at home, particularly during weekends. Backpack Buddies steps in to support these vulnerable children, ensuring they have easy to prepare familiar food for weekends. This is achieved through collaborations with schools and an extensive distribution network. Your contribution can make a significant difference. With just $20, you can give a child in need a food bag from Backpack Buddies filled with enough meals and snacks to sustain them over the weekend and more. Once again, thank you for listening and see you on the next one.
We're here in the warehouse today. There's over 25 of us packing. The goal is to pack as much food as we can for the kids in the next 2 hours.
We are stuffing bags to help feed kids that don't go home with meals on the weekend.
I'm actually unpacking and getting the food ready for the boxes while we have a crew packing individual bags.
Hello, we are here at the Backpack Buddies. It's a great cause. We are super happy to partnership with the Equitable Bank.
Feels pretty awesome. It reminds myself, and I'm sure everybody else, how thankful I am that I have meals to put on my table.
Phenomenal cause. Our partners Equitable Bank are supporting. A lot of our brokers are in-house as well. At the end, we have Jason packing them into bags of 5.
Super happy to be a part of Backpack Buddies. Awesome charity that the Better Way Mortgage Group is supporting. Super happy to be here, and yeah, let's get a lot of food out.
We just learned a great stat that this actually feeds 6,000 kids a week all throughout BC. Amazing cause and a great day here.